Hi everyone, Big Paulie back for a brand new video. I was going to say back for something a little bit different, a new series, but I've come to the conclusion that this is going to be the only episode.
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
I wish I bloody could. Oh, dear me. Yes, okay. This was originally going to be Flicks Unseen. Where I just watch a load of films that I've never seen before and talk about them. But I realised that I already have the Stuff I Could Be Bothered to Watch series. And I think I'm just going to confuse myself with what I'm watching and what with all of the other things that I do with the Poundland Bin, the What Flick, the unboxings. I think I'm just going to have too many videos running side by side. So in a way, this is the only ever episode of Flicks Unseen, but it is also an episode of stuff that I could be bothered to watch. Yeah, so whereas the Flicks Unseen just focused on the stuff I've never seen, the stuff that I could be bothered to watch involves everything. So that involves stuff that I've seen before, cinema trips, and I think I'm going to keep to that. And I'm going to keep it to a fortnightly video rather than a monthly video. Now, the thing with the Flicks Unseen, this is a very long intro. The thing with the Flicks Unseen is that I wanted to wait until I got to 10 movies before I did a review. I started it about 2 months ago. Yes, and I'm having to have recaps on YouTube to refresh myself what the films were about. Oh, dear me. Yeah, so forget that. We'll go back to do it just 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, and I'll just tell you what I watched in that 2 weeks. Even if it ended up going down to like 2 or 3 films, or maybe 10 films, however many I can get in there. But anyway, yes, here we go then. So this is a dual episode of Flicks Unseen, which is the last time you're ever going to see it, and stuff that I could be bothered to watch. Let's just get into it and let's just talk a little bit about these films while I can still bloody remember what they're about. Okay, so first up, and probably I saw this probably about 2 months ago. Let me just take it out of its container. If I can take it out of the plastic. Come on, out of the plastic you come. Oh, I can't get it out. And that's not what she said. There we go. Right, okay. So I watched the 8th film by Quentin Tarantino, The Hateful Eight. Yes, lovely steelbook. This came from HMV. And as for the film itself, what can I say? Hang on, let me just go through I know a couple of the cast that were in it. Yeah, I've got my iPad. I need to bloody refresh myself. It's such a long time ago. Right, okay. Yes, so this film is, as I say, from Quentin Tarantino. It's set in, I think, the 1800s in Wyoming in winter. And Kurt Russell is riding in his horse-drawn carriage along with Jennifer Jason Leigh. Basically, he's a bounty hunter. He's taking her to get hung. Yes, at the nearby town. On his way there, he encounters, I think he's on there, maybe on there, Samuel L. Jackson, who is also a fellow bounty hunter. Just one in a lift, in the dead of winter. And they travel and they just talk in the carriage, learning a bit more about them. They also pick up somebody else as well. They pick up Walter Goggins, who plays Sheriff Mannix, and he's the new sheriff that's been assigned to this town where she's going to get hung. But it's all wintry. They need to stop somewhere, so they stop at this cabin. And they find a group of people in the cabin. Who we got in there? We got Damien Bashir. Tim Roth is there. We also have Quentin Tarantino, long-time actor, Michael Madsen. We got Bruce Dern. And yeah, they're basically in the actual cabin. And it's just about them chatting, talking, not trusting each other, drinking, not trusting each other. And that's it. I can't say anything more about it, but it was a very entertaining film. Really good. Really good Quentin Tarantino film. Just to see these actors interacting and talking to one another, just to see their dialogue, listen to their dialogue, and mysterious characters like Michael Madsen, who just sits at a table doing nothing, you know, with his drink. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Towards the end, there is kind of like a twist. While most of the film shows us about Kurt Russell, Samuel L. Jackson, and what's her name, Jennifer Jason Leigh, when we get to the cabin, we see a bit more of the other characters, and the twist at the end, we find out why all these characters are in the cabin and their reasons for being there and how they're all connected. So it is a little bit of a twist-a-thrown thing at the end, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's The Hateful Eight. I'm not going to rate these films. I'm not going to rate them. I'm just going to say, yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a really great film. So there we go. So that is The Hateful Eight. That only took 2 months to talk about. Flipping Nora. Okay, next up we have Paul Newman in Cool Hand Luke. This is about a guy that tampers with some parking meters and gets sent to prison. That's not a prisonable offence. Yeah, maybe slashing someone's tyres is, but yeah, anyway, yeah, he gets sent to prison. It kind of becomes, I don't know, like a Shawshank Redemption type of film. There's a couple of inmates that I'm familiar with. They've got George Kennedy in there. Who else we got? We got Dennis Hopper and Harry Dean Stanton as well. They were the main ones that I recognised. And it's mainly about him not conforming to prison life. You know, he's a bit of a rebel, bit of an outlaw. And in the daytime, they kind of like go out and they tarmac the roads. There's some good scenes in this between the inmates. And I thought it was a pretty good film. It looked fantastic, 4K quality, you know, it's probably best that it's ever looked. I don't ever want to see another boiled egg as long as I live. And it's got the well-known line, you know, what we've got here is failure to review movies. Yes, that's my life. Yeah, so yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good film. Yeah. Okay, so that's Cool Hand Luke. Okay, so next up we have Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead from 1981. This is the 4K. This stars Bruce Campbell. I've got mixed feelings on this one. I know this is considered to be a horror classic amongst the horror fans out there. And I can certainly see why it's had its, you know, it's kept its cult status over the years. First of all, I wasn't expecting it to be in a 4:3 format, you know, television format, Justice League sort of format. But that didn't detract from the actual film itself. It's basically about, I think it's five, isn't it? Five friends drive to this cabin in the woods. Another cabin in the woods. There's always a cabin in the woods where they discover down in the basement the Book of the Dead, which, if they read some passages from the book, releases some possessing demons that possess these people. This was, I'm pretty sure that this was on a very small budget. In fact, I think someone told me that they were probably like college kids at the time, or they were at university when they made the film. So it was a group of friends that just made it. So you can see that in the budget. Is it scary? No, it's not. There's lots of screaming women in it. There's lots of twigs and bushes doing their own thing. Got minds of their own. There's a lot of gore in it, you know, arms and legs and stuff like that. But it was never really scary. But I can understand the cult status of it. For me, it was good. But I think you have to be a absolute hardcore horror fan to appreciate it more. Yeah, but it was certainly a good film. Like I say, lots of gore and lots of screaming women. Yeah. Oh dear me. So that's The Evil Dead. So yeah, it was a good film. Okay, so on to the next film. The next film is about five friends driving in a car to a cabin in the woods. Haven't we just done that? Yes. This is the 2013 remake of Evil Dead. I enjoyed this one a lot more. Yeah. I think this is more my type of film, whereas the other one is focused on hardcore, die-hard horror fans are more into the modern, suspenseful thriller kind of horror film. This is a lot more fast-paced. There is a bit of a twist on this one, where one of the occupants in the car is suffering from withdrawal symptoms, you know, substance abuse, so they're gonna lock her up and sort of like go cold turkey on her. Yeah. And yeah, it's a lot more fast paced. The special effects are better, the gore looks better, it looks more realistic, and it's a bit scarier and a bit more edge of your seat jumpiness. So I think this one is better than the original, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I had more fun with this one. Yeah, so that's the 2013 Evil Dead. Okay, next up we have a nice little film, which is also Jamie Powell's top film of 2022. It's amazing what you can do with a mannequin and a washing machine. Yes, we're talking about Brian and Charles, of course, starring David Earl and Chris Hayward. This is basically the story of this guy here, David Earl, who plays Brian, and he's kind of a depressed inventor, and he lives on this farm. He just invents all sorts of stuff. And one day he has an idea to just make a robot. Why not? I mean, you do it in everyday life. So he makes Charles, yeah, out of a mannequin and a washing machine. And it turns into a nice little friendship movie about him teaching the robot about life, about friendship, and they take this journey together. And eventually Charles learns more and more, and he wants to basically leave and just go his own way. Maybe he wouldn't if he was a tumble dryer. I don't know. But yeah, it's a nice little film. It's very entertaining. It's happy. There is elements of bullying from a nearby farmer as well, who wants to buy Charles. But it's also relationship as well between Brian and a young woman as well that lives nearby, and about their growing relationship. But all in all, I enjoyed the film. It's a nice little British um, family comedy. Yeah, some friendships are built to last. Yeah, had fun with that. Enjoyed it. Okay, so next up we have a film that's no bedtime story. Yes, we have Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah. Um, I don't know why they want to butcher Disney classics. Apparently there's a Bambi one coming and another one. I can't remember what one it is. Basically, after Christopher Robin abandons Pooh and Eeyore and Piglet, he goes off to college. I think they eat Eeyore. I think Piglet and Pooh turn into killers, basically. Yeah, it's kind of like Halloween, but with Pooh Bear. It's a cross between that and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And again, another group of women. There's always helpless women that go to this house and they get hunted and chopped up, and yeah, that's it. That's basically it. It was okay. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it again. It might only be a one-time watch. The thing with this is that it was just men with masks on. It was just men with masks on. It would have been so much better if they'd actually been like physically morphed or physically deformed into the animals. But you could clearly see that it was just men walking around with masks on. It was all right, but it's nothing special. I've seen it done 1,000 times better before. It was just, like I say, Halloween and I Know What You Did Last Summer with a Disney edge to it. Just an excuse to slash a couple of women up. So yeah, that was Winnie the Pooh. As I say, it was okay. Next up, we have Proxima. Yes, starring Eva Green and Matt Dillon. This was a pretty good film. I really enjoyed this. This is kind of like three quarters French and a quarter English. It's basically tells the story of Eva Green, who is an astronaut in training, who has to train for a whole year for a mission to go to the International Space Station before they do a mission to Mars. And it's all about her going through the training phase and how her daughter deals with it, and the fact that, you know, Eva Green has to go and do all this training. The daughter has to go and stay with the husband or the ex-husband, and she doesn't get to see her that much. And I think the kid, in a way, kind of resents her mum, you know, that she's going off, she's going to leave her. And they do have their ups and downs, you know, relationship-wise. But all in all, I thought it was a really good film. Eva Green was brilliant in this, probably one of the best performances I've ever seen her. And even though you see Mars there and a rocket, a spaceship going up, and Eva Green in, you know, a spacesuit, it's entirely Earth-based. So it's an Earth-based film about her, you know, training to go to Mars or training to go to the space station. But I thought it was a really good film. Really good film. Yeah, that's Proxima. Next up, we have American Ultra, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. Yeah, this was a pretty good film. This is about Jesse Eisenberg's character, who's a bit of a stoner, a bit of a loser. And what we don't know is that he's actually kind of like an undercover blacked out government agent, kind of like an assassin, but like a sleeper cell. You know, he's asleep until they wake him up, and Kristen Stewart plays his handler, but they pull it off as, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend. But something happens and Jesse Eisenberg's character gets activated, and he starts to get all these, you know, these action skills, these martial arts skills, lots of fighting, and remembers combat and stuff like that, so he can take people out. And then it's about like this shady government agency trying to put a stop to him, like terminate him. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good film. A little bit slow in places. Yeah, so it was entertaining. It probably could be a one-time watch for me. But yeah, I had fun with it. Next up, unfortunately, I don't have a physical release for it because it is a Disney Plus exclusive, and that is Crater. Yes, Crater's your typical Disney kids type of film, kids family film. Kind of reminded me of Goonies and Stranger Things in space. Yeah, it stars McKenna Grace, who played the character of Phoebe in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, the film is set about 200 years in the future, where we've populated the moon, and people are born on the moon. They live on the moon. They do mining and stuff like that. And when one of the kids' father dies, he leaves a cryptic message for his son that one day he's got to go to this location on the moon because he's left something there for him. And it's about the kids stealing a moon rover and journeying out to this location. It's your typical Disney film, you know, your kids' Disney film. It was entertaining. There was one or two annoying characters. There was an annoying kid. But yeah, it's just your typical Disney stuff. It's going to be a one-time watch really. It's not something that you'd go back to time and time again. So unfortunately that's the thing with these exclusives, these streaming exclusive films, is that they're only ever intended to be one-time watches, and that's it. Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah, so it was okay. It was an entertaining watch, but it's probably not something that I'm going to watch again. Okay, next up is also another film that I don't have a physical in the collection. It's called How It Ends. I think this might have been a Netflix exclusive. This is kind of like an apocalyptic film. You know, it's the end of the world. It stars Theo James, who, in the aftermath of this apocalypse, decides to travel thousands of miles to go and be with his pregnant wife or his pregnant girlfriend, and takes Forrest Whitaker along for the journey. Forrest Whitaker is actually the father of his girlfriend. So yeah, they go. It's basically on the road again. Yeah, just driving, kind of in a way, Walking Dead. You know, with the dangers, not from zombies or anything like that, but the dangers of other humans. You know, stealing cars, stealing petrol, and just everybody out for themselves, you know, after this apocalyptic event happens. And that's it. It's just the journey. It's just the journey driving to try and get to his girlfriend. So there are dangers along the way. The effects are good. I don't think we ever really find out what the actual disaster is or the apocalypse is. And it's got one of the most annoying endings probably I've ever seen in a film. It's kind of like stops. It just stops. You know, you're in the middle of a scene and it stops and there's nothing resolved. And it is the shittest ending. One of the really worst endings for a film that I can remember. And I was not very happy. I was not very happy with that. So, again, a one-time watch. like I say, that's a problem with all these streaming films. They're all one-time watches. They have no longevity in them, and they're just there to be watched and thrown away, and then move on to the next one. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. There was nothing special. You know, there's way better apocalyptic movies out there, and it's certainly not something that I'm gonna go back to watch again. Knowing also that there was no ending to it. There was no conclusion to the film, so I wouldn't bother with it. I wouldn't bother with it. You know, there's much better things. There's much better things to watch. There we go. So that is it. That's 10 films that's taken me 2 months to watch. Like I say, it was intended to be a new series called Flicks Unseen, but I think waiting 2 months to get 10 films is a little bit too long, because you start to lose parts of the story and you have to refresh yourself. And maybe watch a trailer or two again. So yeah, I'm just going to go back to my other one. I'm just going to go back to the stuff that I could be bothered to watch, series of videos, and do that every 2 weeks. So anyway, there we go. So that's what I've watched. Those are the ones that I've watched that I've never seen before. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it by giving it some thumbs up. Blah, 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 blah. Don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. And I'll see you on the next episode, which will be stuff that I could be bothered to watch in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, every 2 weeks. So until the next video, bye-bye.